Hey, how's it going, everybody? I hope you've been living life on the edge. Sorry, I've been a little bit busy and preoccupied with putting on as many miles as possible with this car, especially with the modifications that we're about to do to it. So we have custom headers being made for the GT4. You heard that right. We've got dynamic driven performance up in Salt Lake City that's going to be making me custom headers. And so I've been trying to put on as many miles as I can so I do get closer to that break-in period because, man, I want to hear this thing open up. A little hard to see, but we're at 860 miles, so we still got a little bit of a ways to go before we're fully broken in. And once we're fully broken in, we can let this engine scream the way that it was meant to scream. It's so fun and terrible driving this car at the exact same time because at 4,000 is where this car really comes to life. And you still got another 3,800 RPMs to go. The valves start to open, the torque really starts to kick in, and then, according to the manual, you have to shift. So it's a little bit of a tease and makes the car kind of annoying to drive in a way. But so far, everything about the car has been phenomenal. The handling, the braking, the performance, the feeling that you get driving this car, and just the overall experience of driving it is phenomenal. The NA, flat six, manual, low, lightweight, man, it's just a great car. And because we're getting headers on it today, I wanted to get a few clips going up and down Draper Mountain, which is where we're at right now, going through the rev range, shifting at different points. So we know what it sounds like before headers and what it will sound like after headers. Of course, we want to have that comparison. They said it would take about a week to build the headers. Now, the headers are super easy to get to, obviously with the engine being mid. The headers are very accessible. You just remove the rear wheels and they're basically right up in there. Easier said than done, however, and I'm glad they're doing it and not me. But dynamic driven performance up in Salt Lake City are the ones that are going to be building the headers, and they do phenomenal work. I'll leave a link in the description down below if you'd like to get your own custom exhaust built. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and throw the 360 camera on, and then I also got an external microphone. I'm gonna try and get as close to the exhaust as possible so we can hear it in its full glory. While that camera is doing its thing, I'm going to be having this camera that we're recording on just kind of inside, and I'm gonna kind of be walking you through what I've been loving about the car, what I haven't been liking about the car, and overall, just my experience so far after having it for about 2 weeks. Okay, so now we're getting to the overall experience, likes and dislikes of this car that I have with it so far since I've owned it. Overall, I love this car. I have thoroughly been enjoying it. It reminds me so much of my GT350 in a way, lightweight, naturally aspirated manual, and it just, the overall feeling of the car and the way that it drives, performs, and handles, and the experience you get from driving it, phenomenal. You cannot beat it. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. However, with every car comes a few caveats and a few things that most people don't like. So we're gonna start with the thing that is probably the worst in this whole car is the cup holders. They exist, however, they do not function as cup holders. You can put a cup in there, it will not hold it. They're flimsy, they don't secure it very well, and they're super weirdly sized. And so I just don't even try. I just kind of die of thirst on most of the trips and the car cruises that I go on and all of that, just because the cup holders don't do crap. Secondly, the air conditioning, the vents, they're kind of pointed upward, and so you do get circulation and airflow, but I can't get it to point right at my face, which is what I want, because with the engine right there, it's now getting into summer with Utah. It does get hot, all black interior. It all adds up, right? And yes, I do drive wearing gloves because I do sweat and I don't want to ruin this beautiful Alcantara suede, whatever you want to call it, steering wheel. I didn't wear gloves in my GT350 and I absolutely destroyed my steering wheel. So, gloves from now on. I love them. Third, the bucket seats. While phenomenal and amazing and great and sexy and gorgeous as they are, if you are trying to drive this car more than once a week, oh my gosh, these bucket seats are the bane of your existence. Now you can get in and out of them, but if you want to get in and out of them without ruining your side bolsters, there's a whole method and step-by-step process of how to push yourself up and then out over the car and whatnot. While you're in them, they're great. I honestly don't have a problem with them. They could use a little bit of lumbar support, but man, being in these seats and going around the canyons and on the road, so great. Man, I love these. And I honestly think I love them more than the buckets in my 500, just because the bolster is in the right spot where I want it to be. Not saying that the bolstering is not good in the GT500, but it comes out so far that I like rub my arms against it, where I have to tuck them inside the bolsters, and so it just makes it a little bit annoying. Whereas this, my arms can move freely, I don't have to worry about rubbing or anything like that. They're great, phenomenal. Visibility, while great, 270 degrees around with almost zero blind spots. Looking out the back, I can't see crap because there's a wing in the middle of my visor. And so I've already got a fix for that. I've got wing risers on the way. Should raise the wing another 3 inches and give it an even more sporty look and feel to it, which I'm super excited about because I think the wing risers, from what I've seen on forums, they're gonna look phenomenal. And they'll raise the wing high enough that visibility won't be as much of a problem for me. So I'm excited about that. My likes with this car, like I said, I pretty much summed it all up in the beginning. It drives well, it brakes well, it handles well, it feels amazing, and the confidence that you get driving this car, the ease of driving with this car is unlike anything other. The GT350 was also easy to drive, but there was kind of a learning curve and a learning experience with this. Whereas this, I was just able to get in and drive. And I don't know if that's because of my experience with driving other cars, especially like my 350, but it just felt easy. It felt like I was getting right back on a bike. And maybe that's kind of why it feels so easy, is it's like my 350 in many ways. But taking this up through the canyons in similar areas that I've taken my 500, there's just a level of confidence and security that I have with this car going around corners at speed limit speeds that I just don't have with the 500. The 500 brakes better and it will handle, even though it does feel very heavy, especially, you know, with body roll and stuff. The GT4 just gives you so much confidence. There's so much grip. There's so much traction. It just sucks itself to the ground. And when you're going into a corner, man, I can't even say I've really used brakes. Because most times when you're out at a track, for those that have been on the track, what you do is right before the turn, you brake really hard, you load the front end so you got front end grip, and then you roll into the turn, and then as you're straightening out, then you get back on the throttle. With this, I haven't even really needed to brake. I just go. And I don't really think I could do that in the 500. The 500 does have slightly better brakes just because they're huge brakes. My rotors alone are 16.5 inches, which is almost the size of my wheel. But this just next level. It's beautiful. It performs flawlessly. It sounds great. It has auto rev matching, which I don't think you'll hear, but yeah. And it does sound fairly good, all stock and everything. Now I haven't been able to rev it out past 4,000 because I'm still in the break-in period, but it still feels and sounds so good. And I can't wait to throw headers on this, which is what we're doing today. As I explained at the beginning of the video, we're on our way to dynamic driven performance, and they're making me some custom headers. And I cannot wait to hear what this flat six sounds like with headers installed. It's going to sound absolutely glorious. Just sounds so good. And that's kind of the worst part about driving this car right now when it's not broken in, is right at 4,000, the baffles open all the way. You feel the torque, you hear the induction just a little bit, and shift. And it's such a tease. It's one of the worst teases of all time. And it makes me want to drive this car so much and just get to the 2,000 miles so I can really let this puppy open up and sing. And golly, am I excited for that. All right, well, that's going to sum it up for the video today. Thank you all so much for watching, especially staying to the very, very end. If you did, let me know in the comments down below what kind of content you'd like to see. Obviously, I have this channel for you guys. I make the content for all of you. And I love sharing my passion and my love for automobiles and motorcycles and just adrenaline junkie stuff in general. We do have roll racing opening up this Friday, so I might sign up and get that going. Let me know if all of you would like to see that down below. And of course, with it being warmer weather, we will have some moto vlogs coming to the channel, some more. So just let me know what you'd like to see. And yeah, really appreciate you. Make sure you're living life on the edge. We'll see y'all later. Take care.